Hi, my name is Annie, and I will be presenting my presentation on the autoimmune disorder vitiligo. So what is vitiligo? Vitiligo is a chronic skin disorder that causes skin to lose color in patches. It occurs in more than 1% of the population worldwide and derives from the Latin word vitium, meaning blemishes, or vitulum, meaning small blemishes. There are three main types of vitiligo. Number one, segmental vitiligo, which affects generally only one area of your body. Number two is non-segmental vitiligo, which causes white patches to appear on both sides of the body and is generally symmetrical. And number three is universal vitiligo, which is as it sounds, where it affects the entire body. Segmental vitiligo can also be known as unilateral or localized vitiligo. This type of vitiligo usually begins in early childhood and develops for about 6 to 12 months before stopping. It is more common in children and affects about 3 out of 10 children with vitiligo. Hair in the affected skin Hair in the affected patches of skin with vitiligo that has been turned white will also lose pigment. So for example, if you have segmental vitiligo in your arm and you also have hair in that specific area of your arm, your hair will also turn white. This type of vitiligo is thought to be caused by neurochemicals released from nerve endings that happen to be poisonous to your melanocytes. Non-segmental vitiligo is also called bilateral or generalized vitiligo and can affect the backs of your hands, such as in the picture shown, in your arms, your knees, your elbows, or around body openings, such as your mouth, your nose, eyes. This is the most common type of vitiligo that affects 9 out of 10 people with vitiligo. And interestingly enough, contrary to segmental vitiligo, body hair in the affected areas of skin will remain pigmented. Of course, over time with the progression of the disease, hair in the areas can start losing pigment, but generally no pigment loss. Finally, we have universal vitiligo, which is, straightforward, simple, affects the entire body. It is also the most rare form of vitiligo and causes about 80% loss of pigmentation in your body. So incidence, as stated before, vitiligo occurs in over 1% of people worldwide. So it's not like the most dramatic disease out there. Development of vitiligo can begin at any age, although typically it starts before the age of 20 and during childhood years. This disease is more common in people with pre-existing autoimmune disorders or conditions. For example, so if you have psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis, thyroid disease, hypothyroidism, type 1 diabetes, or pernicious anemia, you are more susceptible to developing vitiligo. You could also, any event can also trigger vitiligo in a person. These events can be you have a really bad sunburn, or you're going through a lot of stress, your body is going through a lot of hormonal changes, you have liver, kidney problems, or you've been exposed to certain kinds of chemicals. There are some risk factors that make you more susceptible to developing vitiligo, and a big one is family history. So for example, if somebody in your family already has vitiligo, you have a higher chance of developing it also. Also, it doesn't even have to be somebody in your family already has vitiligo. If you or another member of your family has any autoimmune disorder at all, such as the ones listed before, you are more susceptible for developing vitiligo. There are also changes in many types of genes that are linked to vitiligo. And also, if you have or have had melanoma, which is a type of skin cancer, or non-Hodgkin lymphoma, you are more likely to develop vitiligo than other people. So what causes vitiligo? Generally, vitiligo is caused by the destruction of melanocytes in the skin, and the destruction of these cells will stop or prevent melanin production, which is what causes the white patches in your skin, since melanin is responsible for pigmentation of skin. There are 30 plus genes in your body where variation of these genes can cause vitiligo. Two main types of genes I read about was number one, NLRP1, which this gene carries instructions for inflammation, which is basically your body working to attack foreign invaders and protect your skin from disease. The body also, after dealing with the invader, has to stop the inflammatory response to prevent the response from turning on your own body and damaging your body. The other gene I read about was N22, which carries instructions to make the protein involved in signaling and to control the activity of T cells, which also are involved in the immune response. Variation in either of these genes will cause changes in their function, which will affect the development of vitiligo, since these two genes are responsible for inflammation and, more importantly, stopping the inflammatory response. If the function of these genes are changed, then it will be harder to stop an inflammatory response, and therefore more likely that the response will turn on your own body and attack your own cells. In the case of vitiligo, this can cause once again, the destruction of melanocytes, which will prevent the production of melanin and therefore cause the white patches to form on your skin. So there are some theories of specific events that can cause vitiligo, one of which is that the immune system reacts abnormally to melanocytes affected by UV radiation and chemicals. That is why it is important to wear sunscreen. Also, generally, melanocytes are just more susceptible to stress, which can cause them to be destroyed more easily. Most likely, vitiligo is caused by a combination of genetic and environmental factors, so keep that in mind. What are some symptoms of vitiligo? The main symptom is depigmentation, which is just the appearance of white patches on your body. Specifically, appearance of white patches on your skin, mostly your hands, your arms, your feet, your face even, and also hair in the same areas where skin is affected. You can also develop some other orders or diseases alongside vitiligo. A main one, or not a main one, but a big one, I suppose, is low self-esteem. Since this is a cosmetic disease, changes to your body, it is very obvious to see if somebody has vitiligo, since it's just white patches on your skin. You could also develop uveitis, which is inflammation or swelling of the eye, and also inflammation in your ears. So to diagnose vitiligo, your physician can order some physical examinations. One, you could get a blood test done to test for pre-existing autoimmune disease, since as established earlier, if you have a pre-existing disease, it is more likely for you to develop vitiligo. You could also undergo an eye exam to check for uveitis, that swelling of the eye I mentioned previously, or also even a skin biopsy where the skin removed from your body can be examined for any missing or damaged melanocytes. A very common diagnosis tool for vitiligo is Wood's light, where the physician will use black ultraviolet light or UVB light to examine the skin. If you have vitiligo, then the skin affected by vitiligo will appear chalky in the light. These pictures show before and after of somebody with vitiligo before and after they've received treatment, and on the before picture you can see very clearly the areas of skin where they have the white patches. It is very stark against their skin. Treatments for vitiligo generally aim to prevent your body from destroying melanocytes and just to improve your skin in general. So mainly treatment is aimed at slowing or stopping the disease, restoring color to your patches, and encouraging the regrowth of melanocytes. Just to be clear, treatment for vitiligo is not necessary, since vitiligo is not harmful, nor is it contagious. It is merely a cosmetic disease. If you do want treatment for vitiligo, there are generally two main approaches. Number one is repigmentation, where the goal is to restore your skin color to the white patches caused by vitiligo. Number two is depigmentation, which is the opposite of that, which is basically removing the rest of your skin tone to match the white patches on your skin caused by vitiligo. So common treatments for vitiligo include medication, phototherapy, depigmentation, as mentioned earlier, even surgery and counselings for people who may be suffering from low self-esteem generated by vitiligo. So medication is generally in the form of medicated cream, corticosteroids, and calcineurin inhibitors. This follows the repigmentation path, where these creams aim for an autoimmunosuppressive effect to restore color. Phototherapy is the use of light boxes or UVB on skin for a short amount of time, also to even out your skin color. Depigmentation, as stated before, is the removal of your natural skin color to match the white patches generated by vitiligo. And a tool of depigmentation is monobenzone, which can be applied to the patches of regular skin tone to get it to match the white patches. You could get surgery for vitiligo, mainly skin grafts or blister grafts, where the physician will create a blister in your skin, remove the top layer of the blister, and then apply it to the white patches caused by vitiligo to match your skin color. However, surgery is not recommended if you scar easily. So keep that in mind if you are looking at this treatment option. If you look in the middle, this is a patient who was treated at the vitiligo center before and after treatment. This is about like a 3 months difference, and you can see like the white patches are really going away. So this would be an example of repigmentation, where the physician is trying to match or trying to restore color in the vitiligo patches. Yeah, vitiligo is just a cosmetic disease, so you like don't have to worry about it. And there are plenty of famous cases of like vitiligo, or I like this word, the famous cases of vitiligans. I think it's such a fun word. But Winnie Harlow, she was a top model. She has vitiligo. Of course, Michael Jackson, Prince, king of pop, he had vitiligo. And also Carl Dunbar, a famous NFL player. All three of these people and many more are very famous and also had vitiligo and like weren't afraid to like cover it up. So if you have vitiligo, like you shouldn't be afraid. Just yeah. And here's also just like a brief history of vitiligo through the years. Back in ancient times, it was already being described, and by 1550 BC, Eber's papyrus could name like 2 types of skin discoloration, 1 being leprosy and 2 being depigmentation resembling vitiligo. Like circling back to the leprosy, back then a lot of people assumed that if you had vitiligo, it was just leprosy, which is like there's a big difference, because leprosy is contagious and it's like really dangerous and like bad, but vitiligo is not. It's just cosmetic, harmless, not contagious. But because they had such like similar like physical attributes, it was often like confused for one another, and so people with vitiligo throughout history have been like segregated against and discriminated against. Now that has like changed throughout the years. By 1837, 1879, 1917, it was like, vitiligo is just changes in skin pigment. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my presentation on vitiligo. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, night, wherever, whenever you decide to watch this video. Bye.